Hey guys, it's your boy the Shot Clock. So Lonzo Ball might be getting traded by the deadline, which is this Thursday. There have been multiple reports of many teams pursuing him, and it's kind of wild to think a couple years ago, everyone was straight up like roasting my man, but now it seems like every team wants him. Essentially, I'm just gonna evaluate every team that's looking to trade for Lonzo and give my thoughts in it. So to start off, we got Lonzo to the Hawks. I'm simply not a fan of this trade coming from Lonzo's perspective, although I know he provides elite defense on the perimeter and his passing and floor spacing could work well with Trae Young. But on the other hand, I just believe like Trae Young is simply too ball dominant for Lonzo to like really flourish. And then you have to take into account that they already have like multiple like guards, especially a playmaking guard like him and Rondo. They already have guys who can space the floor like Huerter, Bogdanovic. So I mean, this trade won't exactly help Lonzo like that. Now the Pelicans might actually be intrigued with the offer, as the land have reportedly offered Reddish. We're gonna have that Duke connection again if Reddish goes to the Pelicans. Him and Zion, and I believe they're also offering a first round pick along with Reddish, but I'm not too sure about that. If Lonzo does end up going to the Hawks, I do believe that Nate McMillan will be a way better coach to Lonzo than Stanford Gunny is. But like I said, the Hawks already have a playmaker, two playmakers in Young Rondo, and I just see Lonzo acting as another 3D again, just like he currently is with the Pelicans. Next, we got the Knicks. This is a team I see Lonzo definitely going to if the Pelicans decide not to trade before the deadline, but also not give him his money in free agency. Knicks are definitely going to offer Lonzo the bag come free agency time. And if the Pelicans know they can't match that offer now, the Knicks still got a fairly good package to offer. They got a whole lot of young talent, potentially guys like Knox, Robinson, Ntilikina, etc. And also they have picks too. So I don't think they're going to have trouble making a good offer to the Pelicans. On the Pelicans side, they can get a great haul in return for Lonzo. And for Lonzo, he will often Knicks at three-point shooting they sometimes desperately need. Sometimes when you watch Knicks games, they kind of end up with like 80 and 90 points and sometimes score less than 20 in a quarter. Lonzo will definitely help them in that aspect. And obviously, we know Tibbs will love his defense and intensity on that side of the ball. So I can definitely see Lonzo actually playing 40 minutes alongside Barrett and Randall. We haven't even talked about his playmaking yet neither. You probably get some old Laker vibes with that pick and roll with Randall, as that'll be mightily effective in utilizing the system. If Robinson returns too, Lonzo's going to find himself, Lonzo's going to throw him a lot of lobs to Robinson, obviously, and this will seriously help take some of the playmaking duties off Julius Randle, because while we all know Randle can pass, I think he'll be relieved to have a guy who can take the pressure off him in a way better half-court and transitional passer than Lonzo Ball. Next, we gotta talk about the Nuggets. I can either see Lonzo coming off the bench in that true point guard role, or playing the point with Murray being the shooting guard, and obviously Murray being a lot more focused on scoring. Obviously, Denver struggled to contain opposing guards, as while Murray has gone better defensively, he isn't Lonzo. You can't teach 6'6" with insane defensive instincts. Also, Harris is always injured, and their other guards are either too small or gone, just a bit too old, apart from like guys like Dozier, etc. Lonzo will definitely help push the pace and help Jokic with playmaking for others, and he's going to be cashing in on threes as Jokic and Murray will get a lot of attention. Nuggets have already been willing to give up Bol, but I feel like the deal will probably require more, probably Harris, Bol, and a first or second round pick for Lonzo, and maybe another pick. Maybe that's how I feel like the deal might go down. My only area of concern in this trade is the guard rotation for Denver, as if Lonzo does get traded here, they'll have way too many guards. You're gonna have Murray, Campazzo, Lonzo, Barton, Dozier, Morris, etc. And also, Denver's guards love to work off Jokic and cut and slash to the basket. While Lonzo does move off ball fairly well, that's usually to the three-point line. So it'll be interesting to see him cutting a lot more in the system. Anyways, on to the Bulls. This has probably been the most talked about trade with Lonzo, as the Bulls have been looking to trade for him for some time now, but it seems as they're a bit hesitant with giving up a good young player in the first round pick, as they really tried to finesse and offer the Pelicans 2 second round picks and Thomas Satoransky. Really? That's just disrespectful, and any GM probably would have hung up the phone. However, If they actually revise that offer and Lonzo does go to the Bulls, a backcourt of Lonzo and LaVine would be very nice. Lonzo would be finding LaVine on lobs. Also, Lonzo being there would take away the playmaking load off of LaVine and Kobe White somewhat, if Kobe White actually is not dealt with in this trade. He'll also offer the team that perimeter defense they so desperately need, and I feel like Lonzo's presence in the game will make their bigs a lot more effective, in Wendell and Markkanen, if he's not dealt with at the deadline. A lot way better players, as Lonzo will be like pick and popping with Lowry, and these short pocket passes to Wendell will be very nice. Okay, on to the next situation. This is my favorite trade of all the rumors. Lonzo Ball to the Clippers. He's exactly what the Clippers need. He'll fit well into the offense. The Clippers need a point guard. Kawhi's been secretly asking for one. Too often down the stretch in games, the Clippers would ISO Paul George and Kawhi, and there really isn't anybody who can get them into their sets. There's not really any true point guard. Beverly's more of a defender, Lou Will's more of a scorer, and when he does try to facilitate, he's extremely turnover prone, and he's kind of lost a step this season. Lonzo's the point guard the Clippers need badly. He will give them the three-point spacing still. He shoots nearly 40% at high volume, high IQ, something Kawhi's been raving insane about. And don't forget, he's going back to LA and potentially could get revenge on the Lakers if they do meet in the playoffs. And that would be insane, and definitely the series of the playoffs. Lonzo is what I call, Lonzo's a ceiling raiser. And if the Clippers get him, they're probably gonna go to the Western Conference Finals, and most likely the Finals. I'll just leave it at that. Also, I forgot to add, he's an excellent perimeter defender, way better than any guard in the Clippers right now, and will help with the guard rotation as guys are just toying with Lou Will, Reggie Jackson, and Kennard. Especially when Kennard actually plays. With all this being said, I do have two issues though. Number one, Rich Paul. Lonzo's a clutch sports agent like we all know, and I don't think Rich wants Lonzo to sign with LeBron's rival. And the bigger problem is, what assets do the Clippers have that will even one, interest the Pelicans, and two, be more suitable than our team's packages, because the Pelicans want a young player and a first round pick for Lonzo. Clippers literally traded all their picks and not Paul George trade, and the best they can do is offer some unprotected picks from in 2026 or 2027. Also, they have an old roster. They don't really have any talented young guys apart from Zubac, who they're not going to trade because they would have no center depth anymore. And then there's Kennard, who's barely in the rotation, has a pretty bad contract. Pelicans are definitely not getting Lou Williams or Beverly or Jackson or Morris. They want none of those guys. The only way this works out is, like Mark Spears said in the initial report, through a 3-team trade, and that's facts. Lastly, we have the option of Lonzo re-sign with the Pelicans. Personally, I don't mind this option. To be honest, I don't even see why the Pelicans don't want to extend Zoe this offseason. They feel like he's asking too much, as he wants around $20 million, which to me seems just about right. For the casuals who just look at the box scores and try to claim Lonzo's worth, they couldn't be any more wrong. Lonzo is literally the most important player on the Pelicans. He's their best defender, facilitator, shooter, etc. And given the position he's put in, like right from the start of the season, and how he's still being very productive in this limited 3-and-D role we see him in, I see why he's asking for $20 million. The Pelicans essentially moved Lonzo from the floor general, the true point guard on a nightly basis, to a catch-and-shoot player. There's a reason his assists are lower than before. There's a reason his rebounds are lower than before, because he's guarding the opponent's best player on a nightly basis, where it's Damian Lillard, Donovan Mitchell, Devin Booker, and they take mainly jump shots. So by the time the ball's off the rim, Lonzo's at the 3-point line, and then Adams or somebody else gets the board. I wish Lonzo actually was a bit more aggressive on the boards, but he's more about wins, not really about like stats in that regard. Whereas so many Pelicans players care too much about their stats, just try to chase as many boards as possible instead of being on the same page with one another on defense. Listen, heading into Ingram's contract year, like when he got traded from the Lakers to the Pelicans his first year, David Griffin probably pulled him aside and said, listen, we believe in you. We want you to be our guy. And our confidence propelled Ingram with an already talented skill set into the most improved player, and obviously he earned that max contract. This was supposed to happen to Lonzo running the point this year. He should be averaging 18, 8, and 8, and also linking up with Zion way more. But instead, he and Zion don't link up as much, as he's averaging as like their minutes kind of staggered a bit more this season. It shouldn't be that way. And obviously Lonzo's averaging now like 14, 4, and 5, which is still great given the position he's in. Like, for the people wanting Lonzo to score more, the max he can average in this position is about 20 points. And for that to happen, he's going to have to be shooting like 80% from 3 in this offense because he doesn't get like that many touches. This to me is why Lonzo has every right to ask for $20 million. And it would be a shame to Pelicans to let Steven Adams and Bledsoe's contracts get in the way of a young big three in him, Zion, and Ingram. Anyways, I got a little bit off topic. So yeah, that's my thoughts on the teams interested in Lonzo. Remember, trade deadline is March 25th. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below where you think Lonzo's headed to. It's been your boy, The Shot Clock, and peace.